branding and storytelling sit at the core of transformation. No matter what we do, we're storytelling when we're talking conversations. And branding is storytelling.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Today we have, I bet a bunch of you already know Bert, right? From Bert Speaks.
Yes.
Bert is not only a content creator, but a dancer, and he just launched his own podcast.
Yes.
And so we are so excited to have you here, Bert. I think you are absolutely someone who needs to have a podcast because when I was in Yo Bismo, Bert was actually my mentor, and the advice and the guidance he provided was top tier.
You know, it's crazy because we've been talking about doing this for a long time, about having you on our podcast. And so I'm glad we finally made it happen. And I think it'd be kind of cool because we could put this episode out alongside with your, when you launch your podcast. Hopefully we can kind of, you can get the no eggs bump.
Yeah.
The very small no eggs bump.
The 4 viewers we get each month.
Yeah, but shout out to those 4 viewers though.
Mid-July
It's just like you, me, and Cam.
And Guinness.
Mid-July is also where I'm planning to launch the Be on the Logo first podcast episode too, because it takes about 2 weeks or so to do editing.
Yeah.
We're filming the 28th of this month, so hopefully July we get to launch the first one.
Okay.
I bet you have a lineup of guests already.
Yes, we are spending next week interviewing prospective guests. Because we're only doing 3 episodes to kind of test out the water to see what shooting style works. So we are interviewing our top 3 at the moment. And then we'll just go down the list. Otherwise,
Y'all
we're
see how
seeking
high
guests.
demand Bert Speaks is? You have to interview to be part of his podcast.
I know. We're like here begging people, like, please.
Like, come
Are you
on.
free today? Please come on and join us. But like here, like,
You have to be interviewed. You have to go through application. You have to have good credit scores.
Right,
$15,000 in your
I'm
bank
checking
account.
your resume, GPA. Remember all those stuff? Yeah.
Oh my God, the Asian pressure is on.
Yeah.
But shout out to you, Bert. Thank you
Thanks,
so much
man.
for coming
Yeah.
on.
Glad to be here.
So we'll get into your podcast. Okay, but first of all, I just want to give you some love for your style.
Oh,
Like, we're roughly all the same age. Well, Dani, you have great style too. But like, I think like the new baggy look, I love. I can't figure it out, so I don't dare try to.
Pheng, are you still rocking skinny jeans?
Dude.
No, as long as they're not skinny jeans.
I am, dude. I am. Here's the thing. I have like fat thighs too, so like, everything looks skinny on me. But dude, I was rocking skinny jeans for the longest because I was like, no, these are my raw denim and I really love them. But then I was like, I can't wear them anymore because skinnies are out. But prop to you. So
thanks, man.
walk me through this because you're able to pull it off too, and you do a great job. Like, I need some dad fashion advice. Can we start with that? Because like y'all are killing it. 2026. I need to get with the times, but like I'm just so regular and mid dad. So talk
I
to me.
think you're killing it on the rocking the dad look, the millennial dad.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Also, I'm a big graphic tee guy too. Just
Yeah.
recently, I started wearing more graphic tees. Even though I'm a graphic designer, I don't really wear it as much, but I just started to wear it. But I also have my wife to tell me what looks good, what doesn't look
Shout
good.
out
'Cause
to the boo.
Yes, because I do ask her like, "Hey, honey, how do I look? How's the fit?" Sometimes she'd be like, "Oh, okay." Like even today before coming here, the shoe that I wore, she said that I look like a dad. With the shoes on. It's nothing wrong, but she was like, yeah, you look like a dad. I'm like, okay. I mean, I was like, do I? I take that as a compliment.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. It's like a sign.
Same to you, Ping. I have big thighs too, so I used to wear skinny jeans back in high school. Really tight skinny jeans.
Dude,
I don't know how I did it. And then
I didn't do that in high school, but
and I think I outgrew it because I also love dancing, and a lot of our dancing style, which is popping, we wear a lot of baggy clothes because the baggier it is, the harder it makes your pop and style look more fluid. And I think because I wore a lot of baggy clothes to do dance battles, and I kind of like adjusted my wardrobe in a way, and I kind of like wearing baggy clothes. So that's kind of the reason why I kind of got into baggy clothes. If I didn't dance, I probably would have stick to like very slimmed, tight clothing. But I only wear slim type clothing when I'm going to like a nice event. But if I'm chilling, I'm wearing like baggy clothes.
And I feel like too, because like I'm short. It's hard for me to do baggy because then it just makes me look even shorter. You know what I mean?
That's what my wife says.
Right? And so when I slim, it just kind of creates like a slimmer, more vertical profile.
Yeah.
So then slim makes sense, but it's also like not the thing now. But I don't know. I'm conflicted because, yeah, dude, I'm not trying to be the cool dad either. So I don't know. But
I think
props to you guys for your style.
think if your pants doesn't have to be baggy, but at least you have like a shirt that the cut goes like over your shoulder. I think that's nice.
Okay.
I can see you rocking that.
Balance.
Yeah. Because I have a lot of like oversized shirts, but it fits nice, but it's just the cut.
I threw all of my tall tees from middle school away. Like I just got rid of them
Those
too.
triple XL would have come in real nice.
That would have came in handy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you talked about dancing. You're a great dresser, great style. Makes sense because you're also a phenomenal dancer. How did you get into dancing? Like, are you still involved with dancing? I still see you put out videos every now and then. Like, so, like, how did you get into that?
Yeah. I started dancing back in high school, Harding High School. Shout out to Harding High School.
What year did you graduate, Harding?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a baby.
Wow.
You're so
I
old.
graduated 13.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's when I graduated college, man. Dude.
I graduated college 2017.
Holy
so not too far
smokes.
apart.
Gosh.
But yeah, I went to Harding. I actually danced because I wanted to be a cool kid because I didn't have any talent. I was not a good dancer. I wanted to be part of the cool kids, just kind of be somebody in school. So I learned how to break dance in middle school a little bit. And I went to Harding, danced with all the Hmong B-boys in the hallways, in the streets, by the flea market. And then I went sledding and I broke my arm. You can see a big scar here. So I was breakdancing all the way until my junior year in high school. I broke my arm from sledding, so I couldn't breakdance anymore. I was afraid. So that's when I went into hip hop.
Okay.
And that's when I fell in love with like
Hip hop
popping,
dance.
hip hop
Okay,
dancing.
okay.
And then I later on discovered in college, I did my first battle against a popper, and I was hip hop. Like the style of hip hop, I guess you guys can look at like Chris Brown or like
Yeah.
the way they move and dance, really
Like the
street urban.
Jabberwockies.
The Jabberwockies like that. So I did a lot of that, and the guy who was a popper was, I feel like, a little bit more traditional, old school style dancing, and he smoked me.
Yeah.
And I watched the video, and now I'm like, damn, I sucked. And I'm like, I want to be good like him. I want to learn that kind of style of dancing. And then I met some of my Hmong brothers and sisters who does popping. So I took the popping classes, and I learned how to pop, and I just loved it. And since then, fast forward, I joined a crew called, we were called, I forgot, Bio Freaks. Bio Freaks.
Okay.
There were 7 of us.
Yeah.
Guys, our style was flips and tricks, hip hop with break dancing. So I was really good at backflips and doing tricks too.
Yeah.
And then I did that for I think 6 years, and I left that to do solo battling.
Yeah.
And then here I am. I don't dance as much as I want to anymore.
That's really cool. And what stood out to me in that was like, you said that in the beginning, like you had no clue what you were doing and you were just trying to figure it out. That means I still have a chance.
Yeah,
because
you still
I
have a
always said
chance.
like I have zero rhythm. Like I can't dance at all.
Yeah.
I am extremely stiff. Like I play sports and I was able to do that, but like when it comes to like rhythmically moving my body, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I don't know. Are you a good dancer?
Oh no, I do not. I should never dance on camera.
Man.
You know what's funny, Danny? You look like you could dance. So,
Stop.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was a cheerleader in
Okay.
See?
middle school and high school, but that doesn't mean I could dance. Like I can remember moves and rah rah, right? Like yay, woo.
I feel like that's like, well, like, okay, so cheerleading, like cheering on the team or like cheerleading competition?
Both. So
Oh,
like
so yeah,
cheerleading,
dude,
football
that's
team, and
serious.
cheerleading competition.
Yeah.
But see, I was a flyer, so I didn't really have to remember
Oh,
so
you were
many
just getting
moves. Yeah, I
launched.
was just getting thrown up in the
But you
air.
were still being,
But, like,
you were
if-
still spinning in the air.
Yeah, but like if I came down to a dance battle, I'd be like, I need my
I
people.
need somebody to throw me
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna need 2 or 3 more people
Yeah.
for this dance to go
But,
well.
Yeah.
but at least you have the ear for counts and rhythm
No, I
or
don't.
notes to cues
No.
at
No, I
least.
don't.
She's just waiting for somebody to launch her into the air. Yeah.
She waits for a tap. Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
Let's go, team.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
still cool though.
Okay.
I mean, at least you did that.
Oh.
That's pretty incredible. Like, I don't know. I don't understand the counts. I don't understand.
I would
Maybe-
say though, when it comes to dancing, I think it's never too late to learn how to do hip hop or the style called popping, because I feel like it's just the flex of the muscles
Yeah.
where it's not too flashy. Whereas hip hop, you're like really moving, really grooving,
Yeah.
big explosive moves. Whereas popping is like you're just still, you move like robot with a wave. It doesn't
Yeah.
take a lot of effort or like a lot of
Oh,
like
God.
memory, muscle memory. It's
Yeah.
just really casual and nice. But that's why I would kind of say like a lot of people stray away from it because it looks kind of boring to do and boring to learn. But if you master it, then you can be very powerful at it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why, in the dancing world, if you're a popper, then we see that as like a hint of like, a flex. Because
Yeah.
it's like a traditional style that if you could pop really well, then it makes your moves look that much better.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the J4 event, we're gonna have to be on stage after emceeing again.
Okay.
Because you know how they at the end they put on that huge song for everyone to dance,
There's the Hmong line dance.
the Salavong.
The Salomon
Yeah,
one? Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, we did not nail that. You, me,
Yeah.
and Cam, we were just in the back hoping no one was
Wait,
watching
not
us.
not even the basic step, like the one we go side by side and you lean forward, lean back.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the one.
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
one.
We couldn't
Okay.
Like, and the thing is, like, I've been to a ton of different like Hmong events. And it's like, it's just kind of standard. You should know it, but
I
I
think
don't
you
know.
should know it.
I don't go to
Yeah,
enough Hmong
dude.
events to do. I need to
Our
start
Hmong-
going
our
to
Hmong
unison
partners
every
are both
You know,
good.
I
every
think-
weekend.
I think it's. I think you guys should know it.
I,
At this point, I guess you should learn it. I'ma be
damn, you're
honest.
making me feel bad. No,
I can
but
teach
like,
you guys. I think you should.
I know it enough to like, if I'm like in the crowd, like deep in the crowd, like I won't look crazy bad.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny because they asked us to like lead that dance, and immediately I turned to VX, who was the host, and I was like, can you have the rest of the singers come with us on stage, because we are not about to do this by ourselves on stage. Like,
It was
that's
not.
going
It
to
was
be-
not our
yeah.
dance.
Yeah, and so of course, like, he agreed. They all came up, and we all kind of scooted to the back.
And that was smart.
We drifted.
Yeah,
we were
all
like-
kinda-
Yeah. But also, I think it's when I said that too, it's like it's not too late to learn it, right?
Yeah.
But I
Right.
think it's something cool to have in your pocket because it's one of the most common dance thing everyone does together. So
Yeah.
I feel like once you guys learn that, you guys are gonna be so much prouder of yourself, and you guys are gonna feel so much more like engaged.
See, this is the thing. I can cha cha real smooth.
Damn, I can't even do
I
that.
can cha cha real
Hey.
smooth. But that's because there are instructions to cha cha,
In the
right?
song.
In the
Yeah,
song.
there's- Yeah.
It's
so
like-
even if I get lost, I can be like,
Right.
what's the guy saying?
2 hops
yeah.
this time. I could do
Yeah.
2
Yeah,
hops.
Yeah.
Right. But the Salavong one, I'm like,
Yeah. And that's the easy one, but there's more hard ones. Those I cannot do. Like when I look at it, even though I'm a dancer, I always go to a circle and I learn from the OG ladies. I catch on and I lose again. I'm like, what the heck? Like, how did you do that? So,
Right.
and I've been trying to learn for so long, and I still can't learn it.
what are
Yeah.
they doing?
More twists, more footwork, more
Oh.
mini steps. Like, cause the classic one, the one that we talked about, is very easy. It's just like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But for the advanced one, it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, and they twist the bodies.
Oh my
And they go
gosh.
back. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
So you're dancing, you as a performer, would you say like that helps you? Because like Bert Speaks, if you guys don't already know, you help out a lot of people with branding, advertisements, and then you also do like a lot of like motivational speeches.
Yes.
And so you're a great, phenomenal public speaker. So like, would you say like dancing and performing for people, do you think that translated?
Does
I
it
guess,
help
like,
with confidence?
Like
Yeah.
communicating with your body and then being able to kind of communicate I guess, verbally on stage?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And yes, it absolutely does translate. And I didn't even know that it did.
Yeah.
So yes, I give mad props to all of my stage time. Especially out of the 7 guys of us, I was the only popper, and I was really good with like my facial expressions. So that was put me in the front. So I would lead all the emotions and expressions. And because I, as a popper, I need to understand my body really well. So I did a lot of like the waves and the body movements and stuff. So then when it came to speaking, I had that stage
Yeah.
confidence already. So it did help a lot. But the only difference now is I just couldn't move as much. So I when I did my first speaking keynote at River Falls for the Hmong New Year. And then I found out that I move around the stage so much because I pre-recorded it, and that was because of my habit of dancing. So
Yeah.
I had to learn how to control my body movement a little bit more, but it wasn't from like scratch. But I did learn how to do less movement.
Yeah.
So it wasn't distracting. So
Okay.
stage presence does help.
What did you do to do that? Because I'm not a very articulate person, so I speak with my body. I communicate with my body. So my hands are in the air, it's waving. I've realized it's very distracting for people. And then when I do like public speaking events, I'm on stage going, drawing things with my hands and, creating shapes with my arms. What did you do to kind of help you stop, I guess, like, walking back and forth on stage or like, when you're doing your speeches?
Yeah. So before I answer that, I want to share an insight that one of the most, I think her name was Vanessa Edwards. Well, she's a body language expert. So I read her books too. She said that she did a study where the most engaged and watched TED Talks are the speakers who use their hands a lot. So using your hands a lot is actually a good thing, right? The ones who
look at
don't
that.
use a lot of their hands is kind of like stale and whatnot.
Yeah.
But also, because you're already a natural at using hand gestures, I think a lot of people have a hard time using hands. So if you already are natural at it, that's better. But then the caveat though is I like to call it that's your superpower. And if you can't control it, then it becomes distracting and annoying. So what you gotta do is you gotta control that power. So what I do, because I wasn't good at using hands and movement, so I literally had to train myself. So I will record my before any keynote, I would record my speech. I will watch my body language. I watch my hands a lot, and then I'll also watch my speech cadence. So even now, like me talking my hands is very it's a muscle memory, so it's part of my body language. But before that, I used to just speak with no hands, or I use hands too much. But I train myself to be careful with my hands so that it comes naturally to the way I'm speaking. So it's all about training, meaning treat it as like a sport too. You want to become a better speaker.
Yeah, so just like anything else, you gotta kind of work at
Right.
it. And you're like a naturally, like, really, I mean, like a really great public speaker. Like,
Aw, thank
did you ever like take any classes, or are you just, is this just your God-given talent?
Oh my gosh, Pheng.
You've been on
just-
stage many times.
Oh my
too,
gosh,
Dani.
Pheng's just giving out compliments all day, all night.
And like, I am very like self-conscious about stuff like this. So when I see very like great public speakers, like I take note of it and I do clock it in my head. And like you two specifically, that's like, I definitely registered that in my head though.
Thank you. I think a lot of what Bert said, practicing, making sure it goes with the rhythm of how you're talking. Because if I'm talking fast, my hands are moving fast, right? But if I'm talking slow, and I try not to make, like, one thing that I always remember now is not to point. So I gesture like this. Every time I watch myself in a recording where I'm pointing, I'm like, girl, do not point, right? So I'm like, how about the audience? Instead of, what about you? Right? I'm like, you.
Like I don't know, it's hard because like when I speak to people, look, I'm like already going at it.
That's
but
good,
like
that's good.
Yeah.
like I like to like touch people as I speak to people. It's weird. I don't know. It sounds weird, but like if I'm speaking to somebody, I like to go arm over the shoulder. I like to pat them on the arm. Like I'm just a touchy person. That can sound crazy, but like So like I don't know, my arms are always moving. I don't know. Anyways,
You're just very
I'm gonna cut that
affectionate.
whole
Yeah.
thing out. Yeah,
No, but you
cut
know
that
what?
whole thing out.
I think it's
Yeah.
aside from the because I know we told when you say you're touchy, right?
Yeah.
Meaning you're building. What I learned is that you bring rapport. So one thing that Vanessa Edwards, I think that's her name, her last name. What she says in her book is that charisma is not taught; it's something you can also train for as well too.
Yeah.
Meaning the people that actually do touch a little bit more, that's like a natural charisma. So I actually love learning body language. So I actually had to teach myself how to touch appropriately, right?
Yeah.
So like that's why I do hugs to all the ladies. I shake hands with all the gentlemen. When I talk to strangers, I always do like, "Hey, Pheng, how's it going? Oh my
Yeah.
God, are you doing good? Oh my God, man, how's
like,
it going?"
yeah.
Just simple body language touch because even that simple touch gives like a rapport already, kind of breaks that ice compared to if I'm just sitting here, I'm like, "Hey, Danny, how are you doing?" But if I come up to you, I'm like, "Hey, Danny, oh my God, how are you doing?" Like that slowly touch does do a lot.
Yeah.
It does give a lot of effort too, even though it's so simple, but it does do wonders in that technique too.
Yeah.
Wow, the psychology of it,
Yeah.
Bert. It's like that, all of that goes into what you're talking about, the rapport, right? The trust. And like, okay, now we know each other enough to be like, oh, I can touch your arm. Because if some random stranger just touch your arm, you'd be like, don't touch me.
Yeah. I always say like you know, there's only a few things I'm good at, but like networking and like being able to come into a room and make somebody feel comfortable. It's weird to say that I'm good at that, but it's like I've acknowledged that or like over time like I I can do that. And so
You're very good at that, Pheng.
yeah,
Making
so I
people
think
feel
that has
comfortable.
to do something with the touching thing too, because like even if I don't know you that well, I'm more careful around like girls. You know, I
Yeah.
know it's like a weird line, but then like when I'm with the dude, like even if I don't know him that well, it's my first time meeting. Like it's arm over the shoulder, I'm pulling them in, I'm talking to them, you know, and I'm we're broing it up, you know, and so and you know we're just chumming it up essentially. Yeah, but yeah, like that makes a lot of sense though, because like I guess I've never put those two things together where it's like I'm a toucher. That's okay.
Physical.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing on this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I do want to share a quick technique that I did when I was networking is that, because sometimes a lot of my speaking workshops is networking and public speaking.
Right.
So then I did a lot of failures and trials because no one told me any of that. So I took my notebook. So what I would do is, if I go into a room and there's girls and guys, I will go and hug, like side hug, all the girls that I know. It's so that because by doing that psychologically, other girls be like, oh, he's a hugger. And if those other girls are hugging him, then most likely they put their barrier down. And sometimes, of course, you can socially read if they're not huggers, which is fine. But most time, I always hug my friend girls first so that I'm letting people know, oh, I'm a hugger. So when I get to like a new stranger, then the hug is
It's not like a
it's not
weird
weird
thing.
like why you go to
Yeah,
her first.
yeah,
So I always go to the people I know first to hug them so that people know, oh, Bert is a hugger. And it's like a friend hug, like a quick 2 second.
The powerful side hug. Master that skill if you haven't already.
So that's the
It's
technique I
like
do.
you have to come in all the way around and like
Yeah.
tap her
Yeah,
shoulder
yeah,
right
You're
here.
touching shoulders. You're
Yeah.
going
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Whenever guys give me side hugs
Yeah.
like that, I'm like, that's a respectful guy.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I acknowledge you,
Yeah.
but I'm not a pervert, so please don't think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, hello.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
Your most powerful thing
Yeah.
you can have
Yeah.
under your belt is
This
the
is good. This
side
is
hug.
good advice for
Yeah, yeah.
people, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, where is it appropriate to hug somebody who the opposite sex who is not your wife or your
Yes.
partner,
Yeah.
right?
I
Or
do
your
taps,
best friend.
taps, yes.
Taps.
Taps. I don't do this. I think that's weird. I just go,
Yeah.
hey.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Bert. How does all of this translate to what you're doing now? Because you're branding, marketing, networking, dancing, all of that. How does that all get wrapped up into Bert Lee Speaks, your
Yeah.
brand?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I had a hard time trying to find my my anchor of like, because I was dabbling so many different. I was speaking, designing, dancing, and I was also doing a lot of community involvement. I was serving on our every state chapter. There's like a design nonprofit. So I serve as their director of education. So I was also mentoring a lot of like colleges to do like portfolio reviews too. So I was doing a lot of things, and then I was like, what am I? Because I feel like I'm just a jack of all trades, but what is it that I do? So through the years of like constantly speaking, rooms of like 100,000 to 5 people, and then doing constant hours of one-on-one coaching, one thing that I also recommend everyone to do is reflect on yourself often and like journal often and talk to yourself if you have to. So I realized that throughout all of my speaking engagements and branding workshops, I always tie it back to dancing. And I'm like, what, the next time I do another workshop, let me try to do more dance stuff. And then people enjoyed it. I think that's what made me stood out, was because I tie things back to dancing. And what I mean by that is, like Dani, you saw firsthand, I taught audience how to wave, right?
Yeah.
It looked really weird and stupid and awkward.
Oh my God, I
But
still look weird and stupid.
eventually, the more you do it, the smoother it becomes.
Yeah.
So I always say that at the beginning of any workshop, because I want people to physically feel how awkward this wave dancing is, so that once I get the analogy out of the way, then I'd be like, that's just like speaking. It's gonna
We
be
have to teach
awkward,
Pheng how to do it now.
right? It's gonna be
We have
weird.
to show. Pheng, you have to do it right now.
I'll teach you. Yeah. So to answer your question, Dani, I think I bring everything to dancing, because dancing taught me patience. It taught me that it's gonna be awkward, really weird. You're gonna look dumb and silly at first, but the more I did it, I became really good at waving, really good at popping. Same thing with public speaking. I had to really talk into the mirror, record myself. And when it came to designing, I had to get really good at speaking and designing softwares and stuff. So that's why I think everything at the end of the day falls under back to dancing.
Yeah.
Do you want to fix it first? Because it's gonna fall.
Okay.
Here we go.
Sorry, I didn't finish the table yet, so it's like unstable. But
Oh, you're good. You're good. Cool table though.
Thank you. I'll make you one for your podcast studio.
Okay.
But I lost my train of thought.
We're dancing.
But give us a synopsis of Bert Speaks,
Yes.
because you're doing great work. You're helping people with branding. You help businesses understand their branding and what they're trying to communicate. Because essentially, at the end of the day, branding is just communication and what you want to communicate to your audience,
Yes.
right? And I think it just makes so much sense, because we just had this conversation about communication with your body but tell us a little bit about Bert Speaks, and tell us like what you do, kind of what your goal is, and like how you help people.
Yeah, so I run a speaking and design business. My main message that encapsulates both of them is that branding and storytelling sit at the core of transformation. No matter what we do, we're storytelling when we're talking conversations. Branding falls under, if you want to succeed, if you want to build something of your own, you're going to need branding. And branding is storytelling. It's not so much about visuals and graphics that does play a part. But as I, have coached my entrepreneur clientels and have done many workshops, like branding is basically storytelling, because you are wearing something. It's how people perceive you. So by running a speaking design business, I always did those two separately until I pivoted from doing like freelance work of like logo designs to more coaching, where I now coach entrepreneurs on their brand story first, and then we get into like all the graphics. So now I combine both my speaking and branding, the design business, as like a storytelling piece. So that's kind of how I stay sane, and that's how I keep the same message consistent. So it's not like, oh, I'm doing graphic design logo. No, it's like I help you with your brand story first.
Right.
And then for the education side, I teach your students how to become better presenters and storytellers when it comes to interviews or speaking in front of a room.
Question then. You say you work with entrepreneurs. At what stage of entrepreneurship are you working on branding and marketing strategy?
Right.
Is it like early on, or have they been in business for a certain amount of years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when should they come seek you
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. A lot of my clients, they are 1 to 3 years in,
Okay.
or freshly startups, or 5+ years. If you're 8 years in, you don't really need my help. Instead,
Well,
you need
hopefully,
right. Hopefully
they
you
would
don't
have
need my
had that
help.
figured out
Right.
by
That's
then.
right.
Yeah.
But then what if you're like 8+ years? The business that I actually get to when they come to my brand is they just need like a new look, like a
Yeah.
new visuals, new graphics, because they already have the story done. So that's where I do a lot of my rebranding clients. But a lot of my cohort members, they're like 1 to 3 years or 5 years max, where they're at year 5, but they still can't communicate their value or their story. So that's why they come back and talk to me. So to answer your question of like when should they come talk to me or start thinking about their brand story, is I say right away, because what happens a lot of the time I hear often, everyone that I talk to who has worked with me, is they've been doing the business for 3 years, but then they don't get engagement, or they sound fake, or they don't sound themselves. And they come back to me, which in a way, oh, then you kind of like lost that momentum where you feel lost. Imagine if you did that in the very beginning, you could have like not had to pause, which is not a bad thing, but because that pause, the momentum though, does hurt you in a way, because as entrepreneurs, we get like very into our heads, like, oh my God, I don't sound good, or I sound fake. And then you have all these thoughts, you don't know where to go, and you try to do everything yourself. So I say start as soon as you can in the beginning, because it's only going to help you set up for success.
Yeah, and I would say like too in today's like modern time, like you're almost pressured to like constantly be putting out content, constantly putting out content. So like this drive to continuously push stuff out you can eventually just get lost in it. Like speaking for myself, like Gorilla Pastures with the farm, we were putting out kind of like this kind of family farm type of content, building this thing. This farm is like this healing journey for myself, leaving my job to come and do this. And then it turned into these are the services we provide. And then it was like 2-3 years of that. And I felt so yucky doing that. Yeah, because I need to sell things. Yeah. Right. But I think what drew people in the beginning was like my story. And then I kind of moved away from that and talked, and I think I went too deep into this is what I'm doing for my community. Right. This is the services that I provide. This is where you can go to find that. And so we're taking a small break from social media to eventually go back to this is just our story. Yeah. And going back and getting away from that, just because like I think it's so easily like I think people could get lost in the sell. Yes, a lot. And you're selling, and then selling is good, but I don't know, something felt yucky about it. Something felt not as authentic, and like it showed in like the in the engagements that I got too. And I think people are less interested in you selling a product versus you telling your story. And so I think we're slowly transitioning back to that. And it kind of makes so much sense that, as you said that. So, yeah, sorry. I don't know where.
Pheng's all just reminiscing on his journey now.
But that's
the
a good
hardship of it.
right.
The
But that's a
hardship
good
of branding.
realization, because that's where a lot of business is like, because the selling is good, because that's where you're gonna make the money. When I teach my cohort members, I say that a lot of times entrepreneurs skip the storytelling; they go straight into the transaction, which is ads, marketing, services. Right. You just promote that, and when you realize that you're already 3 years in, you lost like, oh, what do I even sound like? I'm not even using the words that I actually use.
So maybe that's a reason for somebody who is 6 years in, who is doing, maybe they do have a thriving business, to come seek you out still. So that being said, is there a difference between branding and marketing?
Yes. I believe there is. Okay. I see marketing as the tool and branding as the story. Mm-hmm. Marketing is the ads that you put on Facebook. It's the QuickBook tools. Mm-hmm. It's the bookkeeping. It's all of the tools you use to market your ads. Also, marketing is also website, social media, all of that. You need that platform. It's a tool. Whereas branding is like the visuals, how you look, the graphics. It's also your story. So without a good brand, then your marketing tools are just they're just wasting money. But without marketing tools, then your branding, you're just speaking to a void. So you need the two. So that's how I break the difference is that a lot of people think branding and marketing the same thing, but no, branding is how you look, how you feel, how you tell people who you are. Marketing just amplifies that a little bit longer.
So what would you say to someone who is, let's say, who's 6 years in and they have sort of branding and marketing going already? Do they just completely repivot and just say, let's start over?
Most times, the thing about businesses for that long, we don't have to start from scratch. We pick the words that they use the most already, that feels most authentic to them, and we leverage that and make a whole new set based off that word. So we're not starting from scratch. Sometimes the business that I had, I never really tell them to start from scratch because we don't have to. But some business that I know when I work in advertising, they did start from scratch because they already have like, let's say, baggage or image that people tie them to, where they want to erase the whole thing entirely. So then they rebrand the whole thing, like kind of like Kellogg's, one of the cereal. It was a lot of like back in the 80s, white family, they love eating those cereal, but they wanted to pivot that image to match the modern day. So they had to do a whole rebrand, a whole storytelling. Whereas entrepreneurs, I just go based off on the words that they're currently using. And a lot of times, when I do talk to business owners who are like 5 years who drove my cohort, they're I asked them, hey, this doesn't sound like you. Like, would you even say this in a regular conversation? And most of them, they say no. And also, I'm not the smartest person, so I do also say, hey, I'm gonna be honest, this word does not make sense. It sounds impressive, but honestly, just me reading it, like I know what it means, but I also don't know what it means.
That
So
part.
I think you're just trying to sound impressive. And sometimes they do get a little bit like ticked because that's their expertise. But that's why coaching matters, the mindset change. So they eventually they see the difference. Like, yeah, if you're just trying to sound impressive, and then the regular average Joe, they're not gonna get it. Also, you're probably speaking to people who are like you, but your buyers are not you. Your buyers are like a regular average Joe. They're not gonna care about like diversifications or transformation if that doesn't rely on reconnect with the buyer or the client.
Right. Yeah, because like I definitely understand that too, just because like in the field that I'm in and regenerative agriculture, there's like a lot of like weird nerdy soil science stuff where I avoid talking a lot about that stuff because I can like nerd out about that, but like also if I start talking about microbiomes and regenerating topsoil, I think people are like, what the hell is this guy
I think
saying?
you should. I think for that specifically, it's different because it doesn't pertain to your brand. That's like
That's what it's
more,
called. So yeah, it's okay to call it like
that's
that.
like
Yeah.
education,
Yeah,
you know? So I think like you should. I'm like, as you're saying it, I was like, yeah, what is like all of that? What does all that
I
mean?
could get all into that.
Yeah.
Like I can talk all day about that. I can do like a whole nother separate podcast just talking about like soil health and whatever else.
It's
But
almost kind of like because when I first, even I fall into it too, but I've gotten better because like I used to say like helping people building brands people trust. I'm like, that's good, but what does that mean? So I kind of had to switch that lingo a couple times to I don't say that anymore, but I did start with that until I just A/B tests, our clients getting in, our prospects getting in, then now that I just change it too.
What
So
is
it is
it
all
now?
about tests. I don't have a tagline as much anymore because I kind of combine the speaking and branding. So I'm just calling it storytelling and branding, set the core
Love it.
transformation.
Love
what's
it.
the
So
tagline? Explain the tagline.
what
You
is
know,
it tagline?
I know what a
Oh,
tagline
okay.
is, but for the audience,
Yeah,
they
so
don't.
I don't know what a tagline
Yeah,
is.
I'm just
Let me
kidding.
know.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I don't know. Let me properly use a
good question.
tagline.
So a tagline is a statement that you
Is this
can
something I should have for my
that you
business?
signature. I think
Yeah.
okay, not all businesses need a tagline. I feel like
Okay.
taglines are overly used when it's not needed.
Okay.
A tagline is like you signing off a signature, like Nike, just do it, right? Where a tagline is kind of like a statement, like just do it. Here you go. The most beautiful place on earth. That's it. Whereas in my branding core, actually, I teach entrepreneurs to have a purpose statement instead of a tagline, because a purpose statement, it's very emotional driven, where it's talking about the emotion of the outcome, whereas a mission is talking about like what are you currently serving right now, and the vision is what's your goal in the next 3 years, meaning like I want to be the number one podcaster. My mission is I want to make all listeners understand Hmong language, whereas my purpose is I want to make language accessible.
Gosh,
Like
I'm so
that.
slow. I'm gonna need to take your course because all of that was so
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm convinced, sold, take my money because help. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, you were a part of his cohort, right?
Yo
For
Bismo,
No,
yes,
yeah,
mentors.
Yo Bismo
right?
mentor.
Yes,
And did you guys cover a lot of that stuff there, or did they
we
have
did.
kind of like their own like thing where you had to follow, or did you have like free reign to kind of?
I like that. I like Danny chime on that.
Okay.
Bert came in as a guest speaker, and the
Oh, okay.
topic that he covered was the branding,
Yeah,
which
brand
was
storytelling.
exactly what we went over
Okay.
of like the mission, the vision statement, and the purpose,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And all of that. And at the time when I was working on something completely different, but
Yeah.
still aligned. Now I'm excited to
Yeah.
share with you later
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
what I've been working on. But no, I always think back to what you say, right? Where it's like, okay, the mission, the vision, all of that is important, right? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like what you said. It's like a ship. What are the lighthouses,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It
yeah.
helps guide you,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, that's what Bert came and spoke on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to talk a little bit on that, so as a mentor for Yo Bismo, Yo Bismo, the program, they focus on building a business plan for entrepreneurs. So they focus more on like,
really early.
really early on, numbers, datas, and sales and all that. Whereas every mentor has their own specialty. Mine was branding and marketing. So then when me and Danny had our one-on-one sessions, I focused on storytelling and marketing because every mentee that I have, I always tell them, at the end of the day, your business plan is here, but I know you're not going to use that as much. What you will use is branding, which is your storytelling. So that's why I spent a lot of my time teaching Danny, okay, because she had a lot of ideas. I'm like, you can have all that and still do all that. I remember us doing like a whole chart thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you connect all that, and this is your story, this is your purpose, this is it.
It was great.
Everything you do just aligns to that. Because so during our mentor session, I always talk about storytelling, branding. How do you make sure that you're not confused? Because I don't want you to be tapped out and doing too many things. When you look at it, it's just one thing. We just don't know what it is.
I think that's so key right there, what you just said there, because when I started Gorilla Pastures, the business model, the business plan has changed over and over again. But the story and the branding has never changed.
Yeah,
It's always remained the same, and it's been like the core thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like the business model and how I make money and how I, plan my year out, right? Like that has changed as we've grown and as opportunities opened up. So we've continuously changed that. So yeah, I think that makes so much sense. Like where I think so much people, I think it is important to have a business plan, but I think start and invest more time in your story,
yeah.
and your branding, because that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like you said, the story is part of the purpose, right? And your purpose doesn't change, but like your ideas might,
Yeah.
right? But the reason you have and started the business is pretty important to your heart, right?
Right.
And I think that's why people like the brands.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
I was gonna like you, man. I knew I wanted you here. Okay, so you help a lot of people kind of wanting to start businesses and build business plans, build their branding. What would you say like is the biggest like reason why people like don't follow through? Because you said that you were working on something completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like
A
it
different
didn't-
business model.
Okay.
But the purpose stayed the same.
Oh,
The
okay.
purpose, the vision, the mission, they're all still aligned, like you said,
Yeah.
right? But the model and how I approached it
Okay.
and what I'm doing is a
Okay.
little different, but
Okay.
still very aligned with what Bert and I talked about.
Gotcha. So yeah, like the question. I guess the question is like,
Is a question more like how come people don't do branding more often? They just
Or
do.
like, what should people? What are some of the hangups people have when
Yeah.
starting?
Okay. So to answer that, I think this my answer. So a lot of times when I talk to some entrepreneurs or the people that say no to me, it's always because I want people to think of this as you're running a business, right? Branding, when you think of branding as your personal identity, 'cause that's what it is. And the business is like the college degree, the certificate, or that business building. A lot of times people don't want to do the hard work, the homework. So think of it yourself. Why is it that we spend 4 years in college, but after we graduate, we still don't know ourselves? How many times have people invested back in themselves? Not a lot. How many times people know their own values? How many times do people talk about their emotions? People don't do that. Why? 'Cause it takes time. You gotta go to therapy. It's a lot of work, and we don't want to talk about ourselves. Like
And sometimes
that's
you're at the one at fault
right. You're
for
at fault,
why
right?
you're not there.
Yeah. So working on yourself is probably one of the hardest thing anyone can do. And we all hear from successful CEOs and stuff, but we don't do it. Why? Because it's hard. I'd rather just spend money, go do all this, go vacation, and just drink out or ignore myself.
Yeah.
Same thing with business. A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, when they start up, that's their branding. They skip that part and they jump straight into the service. Meaning, if I have an offer, like I have a product, I'm just gonna go straight into selling transaction. I go get Spotify, Shopify. I build a landing page. I get a logo, graphics, and just sell, sell, sell. Hey, buy one get one free. Hey, this is launching. But they don't want to do the home because building your brand. In my cohort, I coach him 2 hours weekly for 6 weeks, and it's intensive and it's hard. But at the end of 6 weeks, they come out beautiful
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't want to take time. So that's the hiccup. Is that a lot of times entrepreneurs give up because they're so focused on the transaction and the outcome and sales that they never had a strong foundation to begin with. So that's why they give up. Whereas I promise you, if you do the homework and you actually focus on your story, like you said, no matter your business model is always going to change.
Yeah,
And then but your story doesn't change that much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's so true.
The mission, the
Mhm.
vision, all of that.
Yeah.
Still align.
Can I project something?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, there's like a feeling of inauthenticity, like the past like couple years when I was doing it. I think it was because we kind of changed our you know, we kind of moved and focused on the sell versus kind of our story, and I think we're trying to find that again. But like there is like
Is this for Gorilla?
yeah, for Gorilla Pastures, there's just like I just feel so inauthentic. Like I hate when people are I don't like to even think of Gorilla Pastures as a business. I don't like it when people call me an entrepreneur. Like there's like an imposter syndrome. Like I don't know if I'm not freaking I don't know Elon Musk or something. I'm
Yeah.
not some I don't know. I'm kind of an idiot, with some land and animals essentially. And so I guess like do you deal with a lot of people? I guess like how have you dealt with a client with imposter syndrome, and how do you kind of help them overcome that? I guess.
Yeah. So all the time, all of my clients, especially my core, we go through this like barrier thing where I always say, "Hey, I want you to not sound impressive. I want you to sound and say exactly what you said to me. Put those words on your landing page." So, because I did take a look at your landing page too, right? Because I follow your work too. So whatever you just said,
What's the landing page?
your website.
Oh,
Your
okay,
website, yeah.
okay,
Landing
okay.
page is your
Yeah,
website.
okay.
So whatever you just said, I want you to use those words. I want you to literally say, a farmer dad,
Yeah.
family owned. That's it. Like I mean, not that's it, but like use those actual words. Don't worry about the impressiveness of like that can live on like somewhere else on the website. But I want if you want people to stop like seeing you, for example, one of my clients, they were being called on because they kept thinking they were like handyman. They do plumbing stuff because the name was for Horizon Builders. So they're like, we don't do plumbing, we don't do all that. They do
Yeah.
roofing, reconstruction, remodeling.
Yeah.
I'm like, then you guys need to say that. And once we pivot that and we marketed that wording, remodeling, reconstruction, real estate. I think it was real estate everywhere on the website, all on the visuals. People stopped. They got last calls on about like plumbing, handyman stuff.
Yeah.
So in your case, I want you to literally put father, family, owned, small farm or whatever it is on your website so people can see it. So that's the first step.
Okay, yeah, because I think like just when we were doing that a lot in the beginning, that's when I felt the most authentic, and that's when I felt the most like, I don't know, real. And then yeah, like I said, I think once we started chasing sales, it was just kind of like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
I remember when we were working on my brand strategy, Bert said something along the lines of like, if you can't tell me what your business is without notes, then it's not you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
you should be able to just say it because it's you. It's your baby.
I'm
Like,
like,
use your actual words because then the average person will understand what it is.
Yeah. And I'm not like, I think that's why I like this format, like podcasting, because like, I'm not a great speaker, but I think I can communicate better what we're about versus, I don't know, typing it out or something.
you know,
Not
one thing
very
I
articulate.
appreciate about you, Peng, is like you're so good at talking people up.
Yeah.
Like everybody, all the guests, Cam, me, right? Anybody who walks through in front of you.
Well, because I'm surrounded by greatness all
And
the
the
time.
thing is,
yeah.
you do not talk about yourself that way.
Yeah.
Right? I think you're doing you're doing amazing. Right? Like,
And you have one thing that not a lot of people have, which is retrospectively self-reflecting on yourself.
Yeah.
And acknowledging where you lack, but also acknowledging where you want to improve and surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Right? Because the more you do that, I see that as a strength too, you know? And you're talking about it means you're also going to improve on it too. I've seen you do that too, so it's good stuff.
and you're thinking about it. So that means it's like in your mind.
Yeah, you're not oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Both people,
Yeah,
some people are.
exactly.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yeah, 'cause
Imagine you sitting
I
here
think-
being like, I'm actually the greatest local small farmer dad ever.
I mean, you know, I kind of... No,
Yeah.
okay. No,
You
no,
could
but
be like, you know, our please edit this part out, like our great president.
Yeah, hey, man. Hey, fake it till you make it. I mean... No, but like yeah, you know, I tell people all the time, I kind of just got lucky. Like, I came out here, this was just my healing journey. It was just like a way for me to just spend time with my kids and, you know, do something I really enjoy and be outside and stuff like that and play with animals essentially. And then we started getting hit up to come and do these like speaking engagements.
Yeah.
Now I'm speaking at like farming conferences.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
I have like just a few animals and like a little bit of land. Like, you seen the farm? It's not a farm. It's a house in the woods. You know.
I disagree. I think it's a farm.
And
It's a
like,
farm, y'all.
Yeah.
and like, I don't know. And I go and do these things, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just afraid that the business has gotten away from the farm, and I think it's just like it's like ahead of the farm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe we did too good of a job branding. I don't know, but and storytelling. But like, I don't know. I just like, truthfully, like, I tell people that I just got lucky, and I kind of just want to get back to the original coming out here.
You just want to
Do
like
my
what
thing.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What tastes good.
I get why, like, cause like I got all these opportunities because like when like a lot of people hit me up, they were like, yeah, all of you know, the Twin Cities has like a rich culture of like monk farming, and we've played like a big role in the local agriculture, but nobody wants to come and speak about it. And you know, because part of it is like the language barrier, and part of it too is what I'm realizing, how I feel too is like we just want to be left alone out here. You know, leave us alone, let us kind of do our thing out here on the farm.
Yeah.
And that's why I got all these opportunities, and then it was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of got lucky,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
But
I
that
don't
I
know.
don't think it's just luck, right? I think it's part luck
Yeah.
and part of you taking action. Because if you weren't taking action, these opportunities aren't
Yeah.
coming to you if you're sitting in the city doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I what's that phrase? I think preparation comes with success or something
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Where
Proper preparation.
yeah.
Prevents poor performance.
something like that. Where what I'm trying to get is that I think you're lucky, but also I don't think it's also luck. I think you were prepared
Yeah.
in your own different ways, right? Because when I booked my first keynote at River Falls, I was so excited. I never stopped preparing. I always still remember writing my journal. I still
Yeah.
have all my stories. I keep practicing my body language. I keep posting.
Yeah.
And then when I got my next gig, I was ready. So I was always prepared. Even in the days where it's slow months, I would still write journals or I have ideas, I write it
Yeah.
down, or I will mentor people. I would join programs like Yo Bismo to hone in on my coaching skills
Yeah.
because when that moment comes, it will, like for H&D, when I got to speak on the stage, I was prepared because I've been preparing myself for the past 3 years by
Yeah.
speaking to hundreds of students. When that opportunity came, it was good. So I think you were preparing in your own little ways. That's when those opportunities came, you were ready and you
Yeah.
did such a good job at it.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
You were
Yeah,
prepared
yeah.
for those opportunities.
I think so.
Yeah.
And we're hearing it from the master.
Yeah. No, yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I am my own like hardest critic. But yeah. No, thank you.
How do you
Sorry.
push past that as an entrepreneur, being your own harshest critic?
Oh man, I think it's hard. I still am very hard on myself.
Yeah.
I have my wife. Thank God she reminds me, "You're doing good, honey." Like when yeah, even today, when I think about even now, I still go through like, oh man, I only like book one client this month, or two clients this month. Like, oh my God, like I'm doing so bad, right? So
Yeah.
I'm my own harsh critic. I have gotten better at just accepting, like, hey, it's okay, I'm doing fine.
Yeah. You said something really critical there.
Yeah.
You said shout out to your wife.
Yeah.
Shout out to
gonna
your wife.
say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're right though. Because I was stuck in this hole where I was like, sell, push, push, push. I need to go and chase like the sell essentially. And my wife was always like, we're kind of doing it. Like, just chill. I mean, you are killing it. You're doing a good job. And I think like now, like moving forward, that was like a big part of the reason why we're kind of like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's just focus on what got us here, which is our story. So shout out to the wives because like I think we can get lost in our own
You get lost in the
Yeah.
sauce.
We get lost in our own ambition.
Yeah,
Our
and I always
ambition.
say, well, I say now like what is that word? I guess like drive and ambition
Yeah.
is dangerous because
Yeah.
you can get lost in ambition.
Yeah.
Like I always say, like I think I oddly lost my father to his own weird ambitions, and I was like kind of going down this weird wormhole where I was like, dang, I'm spending less and less time with the family. I'm spending less and less time on the farm, and I'm doing these events in the city. And it's like, oh, let me step back.
Mm-hmm.
And and my wife was a big part of the reason. It was just like, hey, you're doing great. Like we are kind of doing it, and it allowed me to kind of go like truly take a step back, smell the roses, and be like, oh, we kind of came out here. We kind of are doing what we came out here to do. And pushing the cell isn't going to move. It might help it move faster, but I think if we just continue to do the work, more opportunities will come, and we just kind of we coast until that happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I guess shout out to the wives.
Yeah.
You're married now.
Yeah, I am. She got married last year.
How instrumental is that to your business now? Like, is she coaching you through your speeches, and I don't know, like, what role does she play in Bert Speaks?
Yes. A friend of mine jokingly said she's working for free. So she helps me
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
with BTS stuff,
Everywhere you go, Bert, I see her there, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope he's
she's
paying
working.
you, girl.
She when
At
I
least in
host
dessert.
conferences, she's there checking people in, attendance. When I'm at a booth doing my booth tabling, she's there talking to people. Even though she doesn't know the answer, she's good at freestyling, and I just let her do her own thing. And I trust her that she's doing the right things too. So she definitely supports me in all of my efforts. And I think marriage gave me a realization, because sometimes, right, when you're single, you're ambitious, you're just all on you. And sometimes having, now that being married, when I do get busy or when I do have slow weeks, and I sit back and I do think to myself like, man, why am I working so hard for? Like, I have a house, I have a car, I have income, I have a wife. Like, can I just give up? Like, can I just stop running my business? I just want to chill because I'm so exhausted. I'm like, social battery's done. I'm like tired of meeting so many new people and keep trying to come up with a new promo thing. Like, I just want to give up. I just want to relax. Like, why am I working so hard? So sometimes I have those thoughts because marriage does remind me that, like, I'm working so hard to build this, but at the same time, why am I working so hard? Like, is it worth it at the same time? So it's gave me that, like,
give you a reason why.
A reason why to not also focus all my eggs on the business. Because talking about ambition, right? I do know that I have burned my wife, meaning like I would work late hours, or I would be a little bit too ambitious. I would do too many events, meaning my flame was burning my wife a little bit. So I had to learn how to control that flame, meaning letting my wife into my world. That's why she helps me a lot more now, so she understands it, or so that I see maybe that's my version of spending time together too in the business. So I had to learn how to like calm down that flame, so it's just not like burning everyone, so that I can run a business and make sure my wife is also.
Dude, you're just like, I understand that feeling so much, because like there is a level of like, you built this thing, and yeah, great for you. There's a lot of light on you, but you've also just dragged your family through the mud and the grind with you.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're grinding, but then you just dragged your kids and your family, and you're like, it's not just on
not
you.
you
And
anymore,
there is like, oh man, I kind of feel shitty about that. I don't, but also like, I don't know. I think it just makes those wins, and it makes you appreciate them that much more. And it makes you like, I am like forever grateful for everything that Barb's done for me. And I think part of me kind of slowing things down is just kind of like, all right, cool. We came out here, we built my thing. She has some fun ideas that she kind of wants to do. Like, cool, all right, cool. Let me take a step back here so I can kind of support you too. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I always say like, not being out there every weekend chasing tail has allowed me to like really focus on like what it is, like on myself, and focus on like my business and stuff like that.
Dan, I want to ask you a question. Like, I know you're great at now leading Excel. Like, how is all that going? Like, you're busy on your own too. Like, how are you handling all that manifestation and your own business as well too?
It's amazing. I love leading such a great organization. There's a whole purpose for it, right? The purpose of Excel is amazing. I truly love working with the AAPI community. And I really just have a great team. It's so much easier, and I feel very balanced, because you know what? Whenever I'm forgetting something, I always tell the team like, I probably forgot something. You just need to remind me. I'm very hands off. I tell them like, if I'm not asking you for something or saying something, please don't take it as I don't care. I am paying attention to everything, right? I love celebrating the team and everybody. However, I'm not a micromanager. I have a bunch of things going on. So if it's like, I have to remember to tell people like, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Cause it will go like, Pheng didn't hear from me for like, like 2 months.
Yeah. I just, and then I called her and I was just like, are you alive?
Yeah, that is a long time. 2 months.
Like, I know you're busy, and and I try to give people their space too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like I just have to remember like, okay, yes, I'm part of teams and things like that. And I have to
Yeah.
reach out and remind them like, hey, really truly appreciate you. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. I'm still over here. I'm still in it. Like I think you're amazing, and let's get ideas rolling and going. So it's a balancing act, and what all of you two are saying is like, having a supportive partner. I definitely understand that. I don't have a partner, right? So
Yeah.
it's time that I look for a wife too.
Yeah. Hey.
It sounds like
Hey,
the
wife,
secret
team
to,
wife.
it sounds like the secret to a successful business is having a great wife.
Yeah.
So
A
I
solid
need to
wife
get
at
my
home.
wife
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Mail order bride from Thailand
Yeah,
or
There
something.
you go. There you
I
go.
don't know.
Hey, join the team.
yeah,
Yeah.
Coming home to a fresh cooked meal don't sound too bad if
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what wives are doing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
I might,
I need one or two of those.
I might need a Nayo to help with with the outside work, with the garden.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's often something I think about as well,
Yeah.
right? Where I don't have to spend a lot of, gosh, this sounds bad. I don't have to turn to anyone and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, honey. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we live in the same house, right? It's like, okay, I come home and I hang out with my dog, and then I go to
Yeah.
bed after doing the work that I need to. And I don't have anyone, this sounds awful, anyone to like bug me and be
Yeah.
like, you're not spending time with me, right? Right now, I truly appreciate that time.
Yeah.
So I'm using this time as I'm single to build that business, to
Yeah.
strengthen my leadership abilities. So when that person does come, everything is laid out, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
so that I feel like I'll be coasting kind of. I know I'll still be working hard. However, when that person, whoever that person is, when they come into my life, hopefully we'll both be good, you
Yeah.
know? And that's all I can hope for. Because I know right now it could be like we struggle together, right?
Yeah.
Get our footing down together, which I'm so selfish. I'm not there. I can't
Yeah.
struggle with someone. I
No,
don't want to do
and-
it.
And I think to each his own too, because there's like great things about it, and then there's like, things that aren't so great. And so
Right.
there's definitely like trade-offs for sure. And
Right.
it just kind of depends where you're at in life and what works best, if if you know yourself well, what works best with you essentially.
Absolutely.
Um
Yeah. And is it
And I think
lonely?
you're-
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. But
but I think you're doing a great job, navigating that. You have great
thank you.
support structures. You're doing a lot.
And you have teams.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good. Not a lot of people
I-
have teams.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a great team.
Yeah.
My team is the reason Excel. You guys see them putting on events, and
Yeah.
the programs are going great because of everybody.
Yeah.
Shout out to my team,
Yeah.
right? And they're actually the ones who are making
Mm-hmm.
the organization run. And so I'm just back here like, yeah, great job, good job. That's exactly.
That's the job of a president.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
then when no one can help, then that's when I'm stuck there
Yeah.
volunteering for like the long 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now I guess I have to do something because you guys did all the heavy work.
No, you're crushing
But-
it, Danny, and I think you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
Thank
and
you.
So,
Thank you.
sorry, as I was talking about the relationship thing, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I need
yeah,
a wife.
Yeah.
I need to get a wife. This is what it boils down to.
Yeah,
'Cause
team
we talk-
wife, team
Yeah,
wife.
team wife. Because if Cam was here, he'd talk about how Kelly hold it down for him.
Yeah,
too. See?
yeah.
Again.
All right. So
Wives.
any wives out there?
Yeah.
You know,
If y'all are looking for a wife,
Yeah. That's
and
not
you
my
are a
wife.
wife,
DM Danny.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sure your DMs are going crazy.
but I'm only looking for wifeys though.
Yeah.
Yeah, wifeys. Yeah.
You gotta do a cooking test. Anyways, Bert. All right, so we covered dancing. We cover Bert Speaks. Let's talk about the podcast a little bit. So is the podcast gonna be focused on? Are you bringing in entrepreneurs, and are you guys talking about business and branding? What is kind of the mission of the podcast? What are you hoping to gain from it?
Yes. So the podcast is, I think the best way is like what me, Danny did, the mentor. I'm bringing that in front of camera. So it's not gonna be like this style of podcast.
Yeah.
It's more of like kind of like an audit. My wife actually was
okay.
listening to Caleb Hammer.
Dude, yeah, the financial audit guy. Yeah.
So on a road trip to Iowa, I was going to Iowa University of U to do a public speaking engagement down there for the students. It was like a 4-hour drive. We were listening to all Caleb, and I'm like, all he does is just audit on finance, and his personality and storytelling is funny. You know what? I kind of do the same thing already to all my core.
So are you gonna bring all these guests on, and are you just gonna shit on them for
No.
doing shitty branding? Because that's Caleb Hammer, right?
You should do that.
Are you familiar with?
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
hilarious.
But he's great. But then he also is like
real and
yeah,
hard.
and I think he plays it up a little bit. But
Yeah.
he's like kind of like you guys are he's like yelling at them for being financially irresponsible.
Yes.
So
I wish I could
do it, man.
I wish I could do that, but
Dang, you
I'm not
suck.
as harsh as Caleb, but I like his concept. So his concept really inspired me because I'm already doing something similar in my 6-week program anyways. But the only difference is I'm bringing one-on-one and I'm doing it in front of camera, bigger audience. So I'm basically having, for example, Pheng, you come in,
Right.
and then there's 3 phases for 1 hour, right? We talk about who are you, what's your story, so that I can listen, I can jot all the notes. The second phase is, okay, let's look at your social media platforms, meaning your website, your Facebook, Instagram, so that I can look at your copy. And the third phase is now I coach you through and say, hey, Pheng, from what you're telling me, your website is actually saying opposite of what you're telling me. Your website is like too professional. You're very down to earth. We need to change that.
Yeah.
We need to start saying these words. So I'm coaching you through your storytelling. So basically brand messaging. So I'm helping you go through that live. And at the end of the podcast, my goal is to teach you to have a good service statement and a target audience problem statement or a purpose statement. Depends on where the conversation goes, but it's going to be around those 3.
Okay.
So that when you do leave, you have something ready to execute on.
Right.
And I also, of course, offer all my guests like, hey, I have a community you can join so that you can continue building this, or you can join my program, right? But the whole podcast is basically I'm auditing your brand. You tell me your story. We look at all your social media and stuff so that I can like give you critique. Because a lot of times as an entrepreneur, we don't have that person to give us critique.
Yes.
Right? And when we do, it's usually my wife. And I bother her too much. Or also, I need to hear the right words from that person. Because sometimes anyone can give you feedback and critique, but it might not do you any good as well. Like you, so that's why a lot of my cohort members, they love the program is because we brainstorm. I tell them the honest reflection of word versus word.
Right.
This is what you should do, right? So a lot of times entrepreneurs, we don't get critiqued enough. Mostly because getting feedback and critique is also intimidating. Itself.
Yeah.
But I think because of my art major, I've been critiquing all my life. So that's why I want to give this back to the entrepreneurs, just because I know that a lot of business owners, they don't critique themselves enough to make sure, is this even good?
Yeah.
And I remember as you're speaking right now, that's kind of the process you took me through when you were mentoring me, right? And then at that time, I didn't have a website ready. I think after talking to you, I was so excited to get my website going, and like I just started working and doing web design and learning about all of that because of you. So like you said, you do after working with Bert, you leave feeling like you're ready to take action because I was like, I had no reason to have a website back then, like 3 years ago. Right. But then working with Bert, I was like, I do need a website.
Yes, I recommend you get a website.
Yeah. And I think that's great because like you're kind of mapping out, because like for me, like that, I think that was like the toughest thing as a new entrepreneur. You're kind of like, what do I need? Oh, I need to go get an LLC. I need to go get this. And then you're doing all this, and then, branding takes a backseat.
Yeah,
So how do you kind of, continue to grow and build this thing, but also staying honest to like your branding?
Branding takes a backseat a lot.
Yeah. I would say though, you got to go the Caleb Hammer and just be mean to your guests and just be hard on them.
That's why I'm doing this pilot to see. I mean, I'm not mean, but I do kind of get honest. Like, like all my core members, I do always give them like, I don't think that sounds good. Honestly, that doesn't make sense. I think you sound too impressive. You're using too many sparkly words. So I do approach it honestly, but maybe not as aggressive. But who knows? That's why we're doing it.
I have a question for you. Now with AI coming out, are you seeing kind of a trend in people using more AI in their branding, and how is that working against them or helping them?
Yeah. So I encourage all my members to use AI. I use it too, but I tell them only use AI when you have something written, like use your own voice. Don't go to AI and be like, help me write a purpose statement. Don't do
Right.
that. Go with AI with your purpose statement ready, but use AI to polish it.
Yeah.
But most time we don't really need AI because we talk through it. We find the good words.
Yeah.
But sometimes when we're really stuck on something, which doesn't really happen often, when it does, we do go to AI because I do say that I want to challenge everyone here to not use AI as much. But when you need to, then do it, but go it with ready a prompt. So I think it's a great thing. Like I use it as well, but because I know how to ask AI and I know the
Yeah.
right words to say.
Ah.
Whereas a lot of times, like my previous cohort, I just wrapped up my fifth cohort.
Whoa.
They came in with their writings and it sounded very professional and polished. And when I talked to them, I'm like, "Did you use AI?" They're like, "Yeah, I use it." I can tell because
Yeah.
it sounds nothing like what you would say.
Yeah.
So only because just because you can use AI, it's hard still because you don't know the right words to
Right.
use. Because
Correct.
the coaching style and the question I asked them, AI is not going to ask you. And whatever they type to ask me, I give like a human answer.
Right.
So that's the biggest difference between yes, you can use AI, but I know you're going to still struggle because you're still using one brain. You're still talking to yourself, and you're probably not going to know the right questions to ask.
Right. Right. And I can see where, yeah, because branding is so authentic to the individual and so specific. It is your personal story and storytelling. If you don't kind of have an idea of what that story is, AI is not gonna.
Yeah.
It can't generate that for you.
Right, can't.
Where if you have an idea of what that is and you have stuff pre-written and you just need to help with structuring and the
Yes.
storytelling side of it, I could see. Yeah, I could see where it's like super helpful. Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that too because pet peeve is I hate it when people just shit on it, but I think this is like a tool that I think we should
Yeah.
embrace it,
Mhm.
and I think if used appropriately, I think it can be beneficial. So like I think yeah, it's good to hear that from you because like sometimes I hear people trash it,
Yeah.
and um I think
It's a tool.
yeah, it's a tool just like anything else.
So I have a
Essentially.
question again. So for the people who are entrepreneurs starting a new business, right? Maybe it has to do with something on social media, marketing, branding, right? If they're afraid to start their business because AI is up and coming, what would you say to someone who is kind of starting a business like you, coaching
Mhm.
or some realm of service based?
Yeah. So my style for my Beyond Logos branding program, we do a lot of messages, so copywriting. So I did get asked that to some prospects on the call, like I could just do it AI because they could just like write it
Yeah.
for me. So my thing that I would share to these service-based entrepreneurs who are like coaches, like consultants, is that yes, they can, but I guarantee they're not gonna know the right question to ask, and they're still talking to themselves, and they're gonna miss what they're missing is that human one-on-one brainstorming and connection.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee that if you go 3 months leveraging AI only to launch a website and someone else works in 3 months, they are going to turn out way more authentic and human than yours because you don't have anyone telling you that word is too impressive. Why say it that way? There's so many nonprofits out there that, because I do market research too, right? That they use certain languages where I'm like, I don't know if you're talking to your community or you're talking to your sponsors. Because
Yeah.
if your community, why use such big words?
Yeah.
Like, are you trying to get more sponsors? If you are, then I think that should live somewhere else, not make your whole language sound so impressive. And
Right.
there's a lot of nonprofits out there too. If you just go search, look, it takes that back. Would the average person even know this word? If not, then who are you talking to? Like, why even have it on here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. So
Yeah.
useful.
No, I appreciate that, and thank you for coming on, Bert. Like, anything else you want to push or promote? You're crushing it. You're doing so many great things with the
Yeah.
community, and like, I'm just so happy that you're starting your own podcast.
Pheng has
Yeah,
been talking
like-
about, he was like, we need to get Bert on
Yeah,
here. We need to
yeah.
bring
Thanks,
Bert on
man.
here.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate
How
it.
can our audience get in touch with you if they're interested in working with you, coaching,
Yeah.
coming onto your podcast? Where
Yeah.
can they reach you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Bertley, or BertleySpeaks.com. That's my website. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram. Yes, I'm launching my podcast. Super excited. It's called Beyond the Podcast, Beyond the Logo Podcast.
Whoa,
Yes.
Okay, say it
Beyond-
again. We gotta get that
Yes,
right.
it's
Yeah.
called Beyond the Logo.
Okay.
Woo.
I don't know how we didn't ask that first.
It's
How was
okay.
that not the first?
We're gonna have to
just
cut
finding
that off
out
and
at
put
the
that
end.
right in the
Oh yeah,
beginning.
that's all right. That's
Okay.
right. But yes, I'm always looking for guests. We have a great lineup. We're shooting on Sunday, and then we're launching in July.
Yeah.
But super excited. Please apply to be a guest. You can find that out on BertleySpeaks.com. I have a podcast landing page section where you guys can learn more. I run a branding community and also a Beyond Logos programming, which I'm launching my sixth one in the next couple weeks here after I'm done doing the podcast.
Dude,
So
you're
yeah,
crushing
man.
it.
You're doing so much. I love
crushing
it.
it.
Thank you for having me.
I'm
Appreciate
excited
it.
to hear.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, okay. I knew I liked you. I liked you even more.
I like you too.
You know what really sold me, dude?
Yeah.
Your face and your smile.
Oh, really?
Like
Such a trustworthy face,
Yeah.
right? Just like
Yeah.
Bert looks trustworthy to work with.
yeah, like
Oh man, thank you.
you have
Oh, so the dancing then.
you have a can
Stand
I
up.
help you face?
Ah.
Can I like
We're gonna
hey,
win
I got
face.
you. You know, like
Branding and storytelling.